Continue. It says jump forward half a century to 1929 when Arthur Conan Doyle published a short story called The Disintegration Machine, about a machine that was capable of breaking up matter and reassembling it. As one of the characters in the story asks, can you conceive of a process by which you, an organic being, are in some way dissolved into the cosmos and then by a subtle reversal of the conditions reassembled once more? 2 years later, the American Slovakia, the American writer Charles Fort first coined the term teleportation to explain the mysterious disappearance of people and objects and their supposed reappearance elsewhere. Such incidents were among the many anomalies, the famous Fortean phenomenon that Fort studied along with mysterious supernatural and paranormal happenings that went beyond the boundaries of accepted scientific knowledge. The modern idea of teleporter was first introduced to the wider public in the 1958 American sci-fi horror movie The Fly, in which a scientist unwittingly mixes his DNA with that of a fly that has entered the teleportation pod with him. However, for many people around the world, its most famous and enduring fictional realization has been the transporter room on board the Starship Enterprise and the famous catchphrase, "It expired. Beam me up, Scotty." When Star Trek creator, ain't that the spirit? I was just talking about this dude. Gene Roddenberry first conceived of the idea in the mid 1960s. It was in fact to save money on special effects, since it was cheaper and easier to fade the characters out and then back again on the surface of the planet than have them physically fly down from the Enterprise and shuttlecrafts. This is all very well, of course, but what has serious science to say on the subject? The idea of transporting matter from one place to another without having to pass through the space in between may sound ridiculous, but in fact quite normal, provided you down, Salaki, provided you're down at the quantum level, that is. And that's the spirit, because now look at all this research they try to do into quantum physics and quantum mechanics, and you got quantum computers. You know what I mean? A process called quantum tunneling allows subatomic particles such as electrons to jump between two locations even when they don't have enough energy to do so. It's a bit like throwing a ball at a brick wall and having it disappear, then reappear on the other side while leaving the wall intact. This is empathetically not science fiction. Indeed, the reason our sun shines and sustains all life on Earth is because hydrogen atoms are able to fuse together by quantum tunneling through that Salakia, through what should be an impenetrable force field between them. But an even more interesting and counterintuitive prediction of quantum mechanics, which has been verified experimentally countless times, is the idea of entanglement, Salakia, which was discussed in Winfried Hissinger's chapter on quantum computing. Here, two or more spatially, Salakia, spatially separated particles are connected to each other such that any measurement or disturbance made on one of them will affect its distant partners instantaneously, seemingly in violation of Einstein's theory of relativity and the speed of light barrier. In quantum mechanics, this is explained in terms of entangled particles being part of a single system rather than behaving as independent entities. Consider the following analogy. Take a pair of gloves and put each in a separate box. Then have one box taken to a distant location while keeping the other with you. If you open your local box and find a left glove inside, then you know immediately that the other box contains the right glove. Of course, there is nothing mysterious about this, since it is just your state of knowledge that has changed. The other box always contains the right-handed glove, but in the quantum world, the gloves are replaced by entangled particles, with each one able to spin both clockwise and anti-clockwise. Simultaneously, a quantum superposition. I have no idea what they're talking about. On opening your local box, you carry out what is called a quantum measurement, forcing it to decide which way it's going to spin. After all, we never see particles spinning both ways at once. That would be ridiculous, right? Quantum mechanics tells us, and experiments bear this out, that such quantum superpositions are real. What's more, as soon as you open your box to check up on the particle in the second box immediately also collapses from its superposition of spinning both ways to spinning just one way in the opposite direction from the first particle. It's as though the act of opening your box has transmitted a quantum signal instantaneously to the other particle, telling it how to behave. This idea of superposition entanglement leads naturally to the notion of quantum teleportation. But can this be achieved in practice? The general idea behind quantum teleportation is to have entangled particles in two locations, then to scan the object you wish to teleport in such a way that it is possible to transfer pure information to the distant location via the entangled pair. It's just too much. I'm not going to read these less. I mean, like, I'm stopping this series after this. So it was two subjects. And I'm on page 219. So at the end of the day, I'm about to go to because it was teleportation and time travel. So I'm gonna go to the next heading. It's time travel. While teleportation relies on ideas from quantum mechanics, the theory of matter at the very smallest scales, ideas having to do with time travel stem from the theory describing the universe at the very largest scales. Einstein's general theory of relativity. General relativity gives us our current best and most accurate description of the nature of space and time, and the fact that it does not entirely rule out the possibility of time travel means we can explore the subject seriously. It tells us that matter and energy cause space and time to warp and stretch. In fact, the mathematics of general relativity allows for the possibility of very exotic space time shapes to exist, such as black holes and wormholes. One idea of relevance here is what is called a closed time curve. This is a circular path through warped space-time in which time itself is bent around on itself. If you were to travel along such a path, you would experience time going forward for you as normal. However, you would eventually, Slovakia, you would eventually However, you would eventually arrive back at the same place in space that you started from. But before you even set off, meaning that effectively you would have traveled back in time. Such time loops form the basis of most theoretical ideas of time travel. Although considered unphysical by many physicians, some have been more reluctant to dismiss time loops so quickly. The first solution of Einstein's equations of general relativity that describe time loops came from W.J. Van Stockham in 1937. And that's the thing, though. They're using this theory came up with by Einstein, but you've had scholars and people trying not just trying to debunk. They said that it's actually like a bogus ass theory. When you go into history and you find out that like Einstein was funded, and they all part of this fucked up ass system. You know what I mean? Just go check into Einstein. You know what I mean? Like it involved the hypothetical idea of an infinitely long cylinder of very dense packed material spinning rapidly in empty space. The mathematics describing such a scenario predict that the region of space-time surrounding the cylinder will be twisted around it and could therefore contain a time loop. Unfortunately, such a cylinder could not exist physically because it would give space-time some very strange properties that would affect the entire universe. And we know the real universe does not have those properties. In 1949, the Austrian-American mathematician Kurt Gödel, who worked with Einstein at Princeton's Advanced Study Institute, came up with another hypothetical scenario that was entirely consistent with general relativity, but that contained time loops. Most physicists, however, both then and now, believe that the logical paradoxes of time travel to the past are enough to rule it out, and that loopholes in the laws of physics that allow for the possibility of time travel will eventually be filled through a deeper understanding, possibly from a unified theory of quantum gravity that would pull together the two most important theories in physics: quantum mechanics and general relativity. So far, such a so-called theory of everything has eluded us, but we're working on it. The devil, you're the pride of that. But he don't sound like his name, Jim Khalili. I think he might be like I mean, I don't know. There's no picture of this guy. I may go look him up just for my own, my own, curiosity. But because that name don't. I mean, that sounds like he might be an Ishmaelite or something, or Elamite. Could be wrong, but by the 1960s and 70s, many more theoretical. And so take the time to think about that. He said, for a theory of everything has eluded. So far, such as so he said, so far, such a so-called theory of everything has eluded us, but we're working on it. So, do you really believe that this, and like I said, in the spirit, I'm feeling like a heathen. But do you? That's somebody that his pride is he puffed all the way up. Yeah, somebody like that don't believe in the Most High. That's why it's gonna be beautiful when the Most High actually reveal. Oh yeah, by the 1960s and 1970s, many more theoretical models that contain time loops were discovered by several theoretical physicists who were studying the solutions of general relativity. All involved rotating bodies that twist space-time around them. The best known of these was an ideal proposed by Frank Tipler, who published a paper in 1974 in which he took Van Stockholm's idea of rotating cylinders a step further. He showed that the cylinder would need to be 60 miles long, 60 miles wide, and made from some exotic, very dense material. It would also have to be fantastically strong and rigid so as to avoid being smashed, so like it being squashed down along its length due to the enormous gravitational strain it would be feeling, as well as strong enough to provide this stupendous centrifugal force stopping it from flaming its matter outward as it spun at a surface speed of about that of half that of light. Despite all this, Templars rightly pointed out that such difficulties were all practical problems that could be resolved by sufficiently advancing technologies. I'm gonna skip it. I'm probably gonna end it on this because, like I said, it's really not going into the way I thought. Well, that's a hell of a He's got some books I might go check into. Keep this lesson going, brothers. Say Citizen Cyborg, why democratic societies must respond to redesign to the redesigned human of the future. Creation, how science is reinventing life itself. I'm gonna start here. Ultimately, when it comes to time travel, it seems that the most feasible, or should I say, the least ridiculous way would be traveling through a wormhole. Wormholes are exotic structures in space-time that are allowed by the equation of general relativity, which gives a description of them as theoretical entities. Think of wormholes as shortcuts through space-time. They link two different regions of space together via a route that is in different dimensions from those of our own universe. And because space and time are intimately connected, the two ends of the wormhole can also, in pink, and so like in principle, link two different times, one being in the past and of the other. Therefore, passing through a wormhole will amount to time traveling into the future or the past, depending on which direction you go. Unlike black holes, for which we have ample observational evidence, now wormholes remain theoretical curiosities. Nevertheless, it may be possible one day to build a wormhole. Of course, this is not a job for 21st century technology. In fact, it may never be possible, but allow me to speculate. Down at the very smallest length scales, trillions of times smaller even than atoms, is what is known as the Planck scale, where the very concepts of space and time lose their meaning, where frothy quantum uncertainty rules. Down here, all known laws of physics break down, and all possible shapes and distortions of space-time will pop in and out of existence in random and chaotic dance. Terms such as quantum fluctuations and quantum foam, which are used to describe this frenzy activity, certainly do not do it justice. Within the foam, microscopic wormholes can appear and vanish very quickly. And the trick would be to somehow capture one of them and pump it up to many times its original size before it has a chance to disappear. So what are we to believe? Can wormholes ever be built? Can they form time machines? Can closed time loops be formed at all in our universe and allow us to time travel into the past? The truth is that we simply do not know for sure yet. But in the spirit of optimism, I offer a quote from Frank Tipler, the physicist who published the first serious paper on how to build a time machine and who was himself borrowing a quote from the astronomer Simon Nacombe, who had written a number of papers at the turn of the century maintaining the possibility of heavier than air flying machines. The demonstration that no possible combinations of known substances, known forms of machinery, and known forms of force can be united in in a practicable machine by which men shall travel back in time seems to the writer as complete as it is possible for the demonstration of any physical fact to be. Well, the Wright brothers soon proved Newcomb wrong about heavier than air flying machines. I wonder whether one day we will see the same happen with time travel. But I don't think the Wright brothers was actually the real first people to fly. I remember somebody just making mention of something along with that. I forgot what they were saying. I might be wrong though. I don't want to bear false witness. Although I would be unwilling to bet much more money. It's like although I'll be unwilling to bet much money on a time machine ever being built, my philosophy is that if our best scientific theories do not rule it out completely, it's important and fun, of course, to imagine how it might work. So I'm gonna end it there. My point of bringing this lesson out is because and I don't think they got time mastered. You know what I mean? And I don't think the Most High gonna give them the ability to master time. But at the same time, if it was possible, they would try just so they'll never lose their rulership. You know what I mean? That's why this devil gotta go. You know what I mean? Like I said, at the end, they look at what else they trying. Shit, these motherfuckers want to try because you got some deluded, fucked up people want to be able to have children, although the Most High didn't create you that way to do it. But they say in science, we got a way to figure that out. So like I said, just imagine what else they'd do. Did you know I just saw an article? This is unrelated, but I'm about to just speak on it, then I'm going to end this. When they was doing all that during Trump's administration, when they was, basically detaining all those parents and their children and whatnot and splitting them up. Do you know how many children coming out talking about they've been molested and got molested and raped and all that? So at the end of the day, and that's on that man watch. Ain't nobody gonna speak on that. So at the end of the day, you gotta remember, and it's not everybody ain't gonna care because it ain't their children, it ain't even really their people. But it's my people is they like so. At the end of the day, that devil got a lot to pay for. You detain them and then raped them. Like I could just imagine, the horror stories that was in there. Like I was gonna do a video about that. You know what I mean? I remember me and another brother was, because you always looking for inspiration to do a video on or speak on it. That was a minute ago. I know that. I think that was like last. I can't really. I don't remember really when it was. I know it was a newspaper article. I let brothers read it, and brothers getting offended by it. You know what I mean? Because it was like they had these little kids in prisons. And then on top of it, they actually end up, and that was to be expected though. I'm not surprised. It was judgment to a certain extent. It's fucked up nonetheless though, and that's why this devil got to pay. So that's why this devil can't, like at the end of the day, what's the epitome of the height, the zenith of his power, his society is gonna be this 5G shit. That's actually, how to show you how much he the devil. He putting out some shit that's how he got a short time too. He's putting out some shit that's not only that show you he just really the devil. You know what I mean? Like he do all this shit. He took all the things that cleanse the water, the silver, the gold. He took all that out the water and then wonder why the water's so dirty. Now you putting all these chemicals in there because you so fucking greedy. You trying to hoard onto that shit. You creating a system that actually is going to do more harm than it is good. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. Take the time. Go check into that 5G shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be wondering, like, well, damn, if this going to be all promoted throughout the world, How the people that's pushing this not gonna get affected by? What do y'all got special suits or something? You know what I mean? Like but that just show you how much they the devil. They ain't even thinking about none of that. You know what I mean? Like they got that video going around about that CIA director. He in like a I ain't gonna say a teaching setting. He's like talking to some people, like he doing like a not an interview, but I forgot what those are called when you got like a guy that's just speaking to a group of people. But anyway, he was speaking. He get to talking about how the CIA. He was the director. They taught the CIA agents to lie, steal, cheat, all this shit. I mean, like. You gonna learn, and if you don't, then that just show you that the Most High really hates you. Because if he ain't even giving you an opportunity to get right, that mean that you was just born in vain to die. So my point being is, like I say, at the end of the day, if this man was able to with all his vain and wicked imaginations, if he was able to actually bring them to fruition, this motherfucker would destroy the world if it was possible. That's why he got to be taken down because he the epitome of evil, man. You know what I mean? Like this. I mean, and if you can't see that, you vain, and you shouldn't even be alive. You was born to die. Like if you can't see that, like you got people content with just living off public housing. Like the fuck. I was just listening to a brother speak on this. He was talking about take a time to think about this. This society says once you do your time, everything is cool, and you a citizen again, and you're supposed to get this is the land of second chances. They like to use that quote, but if you ever been in the system, you know how far from the truth and how much bullshit that really is. What I mean? You get on probation. It's hard enough to get a job without having no felony because of the way the economy is. And people say, well, there's jobs left and right. It is some, but at the same time, what you got people that's making fucking 40, 50,000 a year and they talking about they living paycheck to paycheck. So I had to, trust me, don't tell me like, I ain't want to work. I was making minimum wage at a job that wasn't no minimum wage job. This ain't flipping no burgers. We live, you know what I mean? Like some shit where you feel like you really slaving. Yet and still, what I'm tripping on is this. They supposed to pass the law where they fucking supposed to raise minimum wage. Where that's at? How's people still getting paid minimum wage then? Minimum wage supposed to went up to $15. How many people know that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, which ain't gonna be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? People think, oh yeah, but you gotta remember your economy gotta be able to sustain all this shit. You know how many stores just closed and closing? You know how many fucking farms just got flooded out? And then you talking about we gonna pay you $15 too? Like the fuck? Okay, you believe? Go take a course off of YouTube on economics. You ain't gotta go to school for it. Like you ain't gotta pay no money. Just go and actually look up a video on economics. This shit can't never work out right. But whatever. So and like I said, I go back again. Only a devil wouldn't be speaking on that. You will tell me about some stupid ass, faggot ass parade day or some shit, but you ain't telling me that most of the state. I had to find out about the floods in the other states through some shit off of YouTube. But I see this stupid ass news we got. Ain't nan one time they spoke on, oh yeah, there's been floods and all these cows. So that's the devil. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory. Call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Shah, Ba'ashem, Chakodas, Bakatam. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone who taught me the truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. Shalom to the Aqua, to the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom to the confusion of faith brethren, join on to our ranks. And with that, Lord will, Adawan Ratazah, I'm able to come with another lesson when the Lord allows. And with that, I want to say Shalom, Shalom, and Abad Babal.